podcast. Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers Podcast, the only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment. We are your hosts, Cameron and Kobe, and we are ready to bring survival goodness direct to your dirty little ear holes.
With fertilizer and dirt.
Sunlight.
Yeah, lots of sunlight.
Seeds.
And we're going to grow that idea.
We grew it into an entire podcast idea. Yeah, what are we talking about, Cameron, today in this podcast?
Oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
Don't turn off. You need to listen further.
Put your seatbelt on and put it on tight. Because you're about ready to go for a ride.
You're about ready to fall asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. This is dangerous in the bad way.
Yeah. We're talking about survival gardens.
Ooh.
Prepper gardens. How do you get them going?
Yeah.
Where you put them?
Vegetables.
Say that again.
Vegetables.
Yep. You guys have asked for it.
Maybe.
I think this has been one of the least requested episodes ever.
Like, what has anyone not asked us to do? Let's do that. We're trying a new thing.
Yeah. We figured it was a good time. It's springtime.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to the grocery store.
You don't.
Grow Cheetos in your backyard.
If you could, flaming hot Cheetos.
I would grow only Cheetos if I could.
Could you? Like the crunchy?
Well, I'd grow Lay's potato chips.
You like the tater chips,
I didn't have to process them.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Just grows a bag and you open it up and
That's the problem.
That'd be amazing.
I know. So we're talking about a survival garden today, prepper garden. Your garden. That's what we're talking about. So we're excited.
There's a lot of peacefulness that comes from
There
this.
is. Do you know where I got some seeds one time? Battle Box.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use, but not Battle Box, because we got some prepper seeds in there one time.
We did.
It's the monthly subscription box for men, gardening men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, gardeners, survivalists, gardeners, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual gardeners. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked seeds, outdoor survival seeds, everyday carry seeds, all valued at far more than what you normally pay for seeds. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. Seeds! No, they didn't.
From
They
every
actually got-
BattleBox guy.
No, we actually got a fat rope stick.
Yeah.
That thing was cool.
It's like one of my favorite fire starters now.
More Knives Spark.
It's one of my favorite sparks right now.
It is great. All of this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free tactical knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. You got to go to that URL, Cameron.
Yeah.
Trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free tactical knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Yeah.
And we're always talking about BattleBox because they always got cool stuff.
I always look. I got a shirt from them.
Oh, yeah, you have a shirt. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Listener reviews starts now.
Go for it, Cameron.
Love the show. 5 stars.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
The way you said it was creepy, but
I absolutely love the show. And I only wish I had found it sooner. The guys mix the topics with a good amount of humor, and I haven't listened to a show yet where I haven't busted out laughing. It's probably not what you're looking for if you're super serious, as they imply on the show. But for the vast majority, it's certainly worth a listen. Toasty Martian,
yeah.
Apple Podcast, United States.
Toasty
America,
Martian.
4/19/20.
Thank you,
That was like
Toasty.
a week ago. Thank you.
I know, that was very recently, and we appreciate it. We really do. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
So there was a couple. I couldn't quite choose, so I just want to hit on this one real quick. Is Kim Jong-un dead?
I swear.
Is he?
I don't know. It seems weird that there's
I don't
nothing
know.
coming from any. How would we ever know?
I don't know. They
They
would
have
tell
so
us.
many duplicates.
They have duplicate.
Whole country of
Are you
Kim
saying
Jong-un.
that sounds racist?
It is, but that's
Yeah.
not what I meant.
Okay, what'd you mean?
It's just that I know that they have
Fakers.
fake guys
Yeah.
to get shot and shot at so that he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So you would never know.
Yeah. Weird.
But it does seem super odd, and all the like tracking of his train and all that stuff.
Well, now I actually saw something today that there was like his fancy boats were somewhere at this certain place. So they might have think that's where he's been holed up, where these boats are.
Where's my fancy boat?
Yeah. Get my fancy boat. Okay. And so, yeah, so who knows?
And I'm racist.
Yeah, I know, you are. So is he dead? Is he not? Who knows? Crazy deal. Let's keep an eye on that one. Let's keep an eye on it.
Let's keep a close eye on it.
Here is the other one that I thought was kind of crazy. I sent this to Cam the other day. We talk about conspiracy theories all the time. COVID-19 has many a conspiracy around it, right? Is it 5G? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It probably is. Yeah. Here's one that to me, okay, so
This
yesterday.
blew my mind
Was it yesterday or the day before?
when you sent this.
Yeah. So this one for me is fun. It's a good one. And I'm going with this one, although it didn't work out because the asteroid passed. So there was an asteroid that just passed our cosmic neighborhood on Wednesday. It was called Asteroid 1998 OR2, right? It was no closer than 3.9 million miles away, though. And that apparently is close.
No.
It's 16 times further away than the moon. So really, I'm not too... I mean, it's not that
Well, I go
serious.
to the moon every...
Yeah. But here is this conspiracy theory that was kind of focused around this.
This basically
Asteroid.
would wrap up our podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Because,
Yeah. So
the
this
end
was a
is near.
Facebook post, and it says, in the first week of November 2019, NASA and the Vatican Observatory both discovered and confirmed a fast-approaching comet that is so extremely large that a collision with Earth on its current path is inevitable. Okay, so this was part of it, and they don't know if it was this one or a different one, right? On November 9th, 2019, the United Nations held a secret meeting with the world leaders to develop an exit strategy to make everyone as comfortable as possible for what scientists are carefully calculated and confirmed as the apocalypse in the months to follow.
Okay.
Okay, you with me so far? The plan would be to implement a scapegoat virus, COVID-19, which would cause flu-like symptoms spreading easily and fast, distracting from the truth, and to force a worldwide quarantine with the sole purpose of initiating home time to be spent with family while minimizing overall panic, anarchy, and premature mass casualties. So basically, they're trying to keep us home. They're trying to get us to prepare food and water. They're trying to get us to not have anarchy, and that is they did it because of this asteroid,
This
and
is
they
the best
used
safety plan.
and they used the pandemic to do it.
Coronavirus has got to be pissed by now. It's like,
Yeah.
take me serious.
I'm really killing people,
I'm
idiots.
not here for another reason.
Yeah, but I thought that was a good one. That's like a plot to a movie.
Yeah,
I'd watch
this is
that.
a movie.
I'd watch that in a heartbeat. Heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was a good one.
I didn't know that we were coming to an end of the world.
Well, usually 2 or
Who's
3
the
times a year.
secret? Oh, this guy says he's CIA.
CIA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Mhm.
So, yeah, don't worry about COVID. Worry about dying soon from asteroid strike.
Yep.
I just had some news. I felt like this would be important to talk about right now because we're
Okay.
about to, like, kind of loosen the lockdown.
Yeah,
you know, let
we are.
people out of their cages.
Mm-hmm.
So in New Zealand, police have been required to enforce crowd control measures at a popular fast food outlet after large numbers of people rushed to buy burgers following the relaxing of the country's lockdown measures.
Oh.
So people are just like, burger!
Yeah. I can
So-
go, I don't need a burger.
Yeah. So
Put some Vegemite on it.
at a burger joint,
Oh, it's
the
New
crowds,
Zealand. I
Yeah.
thought it was Australia.
I don't know what they speak in New Zealand.
I don't know if they eat
New
Vegemite.
Zealander.
If they eat Vegemite there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That black tar.
Yeah.
The crowds were so large that the police were called, and to a small number of incidents last night where people weren't adhering to social distancing, so that people were like, look at it. Probably somebody was in the back of the lines like, this pisses me off.
Yeah.
Get the police.
Call the police.
I guess there's a place called Burger Fuel. Sounds
Ooh,
pretty cool.
I'd eat there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were inundated with a stampede of customers, way beyond what they had anticipated.
Ran out of pickles.
Yeah. They certainly didn't. People didn't fulfill those obligations last night. 104 breaches in the first 18 hours of the level 4 rules being lifted. There had also been 742 complaints of businesses not complying. I know everyone is excited to return to some kind of normalcy with things like takeaways, coffee, some physical activities, but I'm concerned about the lack of social distancing we are seeing. We need to keep going for a little while longer. So, this is what's going to happen
Yeah.
in the U.S.
It is.
It's going to go crazy. The thing that, like, I think it's funny because all the governors are like, we're going to lower the level, and people are listening to this in a bar with, like, all these people around. They're like, oh, we're lowering it?
So we can do what we're doing right now.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Just
crazy.
use your brain. Just be careful. I know this is annoying.
It is super annoying. I'm done.
I am too.
I'm so
Who
done.
isn't done with it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
But the only thing, it's like at work we were talking, it's like you could have a cold sore, not brush your teeth, and you're like, just put a mask on.
Yeah, I know.
Cover it all up.
Doesn't matter.
But anyways, yeah, I think that once they go to like a level 3, are we moving from a 4 to a level 3 or a 4 to?
I heard colors.
Yeah, we're moving
I know
from fuchsia to lavender
to violet.
Yeah, and anyways, no one's gonna follow any of this.
No, it's tough.
So it's just gonna be an interesting deal.
So once this is all done, and you want something else to do, what about gardening?
Gardening's a great thing.
It's a great thing to start thinking about.
This is a good time of year here in the United States.
It is. Yeah. It's time to start your garden.
It is. Start putting stuff in there.
So Cam and I decided, hey, let's talk about a garden.
Yeah.
We haven't done this yet.
I know.
We haven't done this yet. Neither of us are gardeners.
This
really.
is a huge part of a survival plan.
Yes.
It's not very sexy to talk about.
Oh, it sure isn't.
Well, maybe it is. Some
Could be.
people are like
Some people
totally loving it right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you say garden?
But those people are in for a rude awakening.
Let me pull over on the shoulder and turn it.
We don't know what we're talking about. Again, that's part of what we do is we try and
Yes.
learn this stuff and then bring it to you as much
When
as
you
we
were
can.
doing the battle box thing, we should do a casual gardening podcast.
Casual gardening
Yeah.
podcast.
It would be super
Yeah,
exciting.
It would be.
We'd wrap it up in the first episode.
Yeah, for sure. So why have a garden as a prepper, as a survivalist, as a normal everyday dude or dudette? Why should you have a garden? You know, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, especially if you're a prepper.
Yeah.
So let's start looking at some of those reasons. I mean, number one, what if you lost your job?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of you out there right now who have lost your job. I mean, the numbers are astronomical, obviously, because of this pandemic. Job loss, underemployment, all those types of things. A garden can be a great way to supplement your food, right?
Right.
Hyperinflation. Who knows? We might be headed there with all this crap that's going on. That means the cost of food and everything is just going to skyrocket. And if you have food that you're growing yourself, it's much cheaper, right? It's more work, but it's much cheaper. Economic downturn. Well, that's right around the freaking corner if we're not in it right now, right?
Exactly.
Crop failures. Locusts
Happens
are on
a
their
lot.
way.
Happens everywhere, every year.
Locusts are coming. Guarantee it.
They've been pillaging the villages and
Pillaging villages.
Iran, or where was it?
That was in Africa somewhere. That was happening. Transportation crisis is, trucker strikes, fuel costs. We don't not worry about that right now. Regulations, all those types of things. Long-term grid down situations. We've talked about these a million times. I mean, in those situations, you better have a garden, right? I mean, you just better.
I think right now it's obvious how fragile our grid is. Like,
Yes.
it can go down with everything.
Fragile our grid is, but also how fragile the whole system is.
The system, yeah.
you're looking
Everybody's
at
so reliant. I
Yeah.
mean, the effects of ripple effect from this
It's insane.
blows my mind.
They're talking right now that there's going to be, an issue with the food supply chains because
saw that.
of everything that's going on. So that is
I
creepy.
saw them like burying a bunch of like onion stuff because there's like, we don't have anywhere to take
Put them
it.
back in the ground. We just took them out, put them back in.
Bury them.
Just bring them up. Yeah. So that's bad, right?
Put them back.
So, another good thing about a garden is in your own garden, you know where this food's coming from. You never quite know, right? You're hoping, you're trusting people.
Yeah.
Right? That it was grown in a responsible way, that it doesn't have crazy pesticides on it, that you're not eating, mutant carrots or whatever it might be. So you got to be worried about that, right?
Mutant carrots.
Mutant carrots. There's usually higher nutrients because they're not like factory farmed or those, no cancer-laced GMO stuff, like Cam says. They have medicinal uses, alternatives to like regular synthetic medications, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole host of reasons why you should be doing it. Plus, it kind of is a fun thing to do.
It is.
If you've ever done it even a little bit, it's like, oh, it's kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
I grew my own zucchini.
Until it gets hot and bugs
Yeah.
start eating it. And,
And
then
then
you
it's
get
not very
pissed. And you're
fun.
like, I ain't
Yeah.
doing this next
And it's a
year.
lot of work. It really is a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
work.
a ton of work.
But,
So a survival garden is kind of different from just your regular garden because this is where you're going to supply. I mean, the ultimate goal is, can I get enough food from this to sustain life and
Yeah.
feed my family.
Or at least be a piece of that.
yeah,
life-sustaining
like
food.
supplements, so you're
Yes.
not going through all of your
Yeah.
long-term supplies. So a couple of sites I looked at, so I got an honorable mention here. They did have a lot of good information. happypreppers.com
Yeah.
and the Provident Prepper, so check them out.
Sure.
So some of the key points when you're getting your survival garden going and starting is you probably aren't, you may have a lot of time, but you want to be able to make an efficient garden that requires the least amount of input. And that takes skill and a lot of time. No, leave that. That's how I wanted it spelled.
Fixing his spelling errors.
It was efficient.
Yeah, efficient.
But you want to be able to, spend as little time in there and have it set up so that it's self-watering or conserving as much water as possible.
Can this zucchini water itself?
It's here in Utah. Yeah. Like that's becomes a weed when I grow it in the garden. But yeah, you want to have the system set up to where you don't need to spend a ton of time there, and you may be, out and about doing other things. You don't want to always be relying on or planning around your garden. I got to check on it. I can't bug out.
I got a 9-hour workday in the garden today. It's like, that's not going to work out.
Sometimes it feels that way.
Yeah.
Limited resources. Obviously, you don't want to be using all of your water in your garden.
You got that 55-gallon barrel to drink, and you've got it.
You've got a hose coming out.
Yeah. Oh man, it made an appearance again. Haven't heard that.
Spraying it all over. But yeah, you want to use as little resources and get back, get food out of it. So recycling foods, throwing your wastes in there, your lawn clippings, leaf clippings. If you're trimming wood, you want to trim it. You want to shave stuff in there.
Fingernails. Fingernail clippings.
Yeah. Hair clippings.
Nose hair clippings.
Everything.
Yeah. Earwax.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
you can get in there, just throw it in there.
Just have all your shower water run out into your garden.
Yeah,
That would kill it all.
The shower sex water. Now that's the stuff.
Love. It's love
It's
towards
love.
the garden.
Yeah.
And then you want to maximize your growing time. So, and I do this a lot. It's like all my stuff comes at once. It's like
Yeah.
all of it comes in September.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I
can't eat all of this.
let it all rot, I guess.
Yeah.
So you want to like stagger planting and kind of have it so your food is growing. In the spring, you can harvest this, middle of summer, fall, and into early parts of winter, you still have produce.
Sure.
And then protection, you got to look into how to keep birds out, wasps, kids, deers, beetles, buttholes, all kinds of stuff. You got to keep it all out of there.
Buttholes.
And then we'll talk a little more on that later. So garden types, outdoor gardens, most common.
A lot of people have them.
This is the most basic of basic here.
I've seen a bunch around town.
I drive by one every day. So,
Beer gardens.
yeah,
There's that too.
there's all kinds of gardens. This is your standard garden you've seen in books, on television.
Movies.
Yeah.
Cinema loves these types of things.
Yeah. This is, green coming out of the dirt.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about right now. But there's a lot more that goes into it. You got to understand the soil and the location. Like if you look on the back of the seeds, it tells you what zone you're in.
The back of the seeds?
Seed packet,
Oh,
sorry.
the back of
If
the
you get a microscope, it tells you
It's at the back. On the front of the seed, it won't show much, but on the back.
seed packet.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
get you. Makes sense.
That'd be awesome if the seed takes 2 gallons of water a year.
Yeah.
Good piece of corn has a little
Yeah.
direction on the back. You need to understand what grows and what requires way too much time. Kobe will talk a little more about selecting different plants and things, but like corn has been a nightmare for me. Like
Has it?
I do not have.
I grew it
success with
so easy.
Like I think it has a lot to do with like I know that raised boxes are not a good thing for corn,
No.
but like it's just like by the time I get a head of corn, I'm like, oh cool, open it up and it's completely eaten by a bug or. Anyways,
Makes sense.
so you like practicing by growing and pulling it up and eating it. And you just do that every year.
Yeah.
You'll
just keep doing
figure it out.
You get it worked out.
Probably the most important thing is your soil. So we here have like a ton of sand in our soil, and it's not the greatest for a lot of different types or a lot of variety. So you can get a test kit. You can see how much you need to add to it, if it's acidic or alkali or whatever. And that soil is going to be the most important thing to keep insects away, conserve your water, and grow healthy, lovely, delicious fruit.
And vegetables.
And some things you can, like I was talking about doing grass clippings, mulch, kind of locks the water in, it dries on top, and then you keep everything. It helps insects as well.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're thinking about that.
So it's like you're trapping the water underneath there. Yeah. Anyways, this is basic stuff to most gardeners. I'm sure whoever is a hardcore green thumb right now is like, these dip.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
Anyway, so I use raised boxes because I have a limited amount of space. So it gives you a little bit more to work with, a little more, it's a little more organized.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Sure.
But it's different, and certain things don't grow as good in there. I found out. So anyways, whatever way you do it good.
Do it good.
Learn how to do it.
Yeah.
One thing is you got to learn by failure. You got to try and grow certain things. I found like a certain type of watermelon grows extremely well, and another one, I tried like a seedless one, and it grew horribly.
Really?
Same place, same amount of time, same soil.
Just didn't work
It
out.
just didn't work. It was weird. So you got to kind of play with it and figure out which seeds grow better.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this being a survival garden, like something for like an SHTF situation. You don't want to have to be learning those things.
Yeah, you've got to try them.
When like
I've been using
it's all on the line.
Yeah,
right.
Like survival boxes makes they I don't know what they're doing now, but they had like these packets, all these varieties, and I'm trying a few this year. I tried some last year, some grew and some didn't. It just depends a lot on what kind of soil and your location. Anyway, so one of the more difficult but rewarding areas is indoor gardening.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've wanted to get into the hydroponics, and a part of that is aeroponics. But like some of the basic stuff is just like starting before the winter is completely gone. It's just started in pots, and I haven't ever bought a grow light. Have you ever bought one of those? That are like all purple, and they have all kinds of different UV rays and stuff to help grow faster. But get a soil tester, get a transplanter. It helps kind of to move that into the garden later. Long neck watering can, different pots. You got some self-watering pots, so you don't have to spend a ton of time.
Interesting.
Get a mister.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the best thing to grow is you get a mister in your garden. But yeah, and then there's even like Wi-Fi plant monitoring.
What?
You just
Seriously?
stick this sucker in, and it'll monitor like the soil, how much water it's getting, and all of that. So if you're like,
I've never seen
super
that.
nerdy,
yeah,
and you don't have the time,
I'm
to
surprised
look,
you don't have like.
I kind of want to try one.
Have it like hooked up to your Google Home.
I know.
Google.
Hey, Google.
How's my
well,
tomatoes?
I kind of do. I have the.
I knew it.
My sprinkling system that I put in.
Oh yeah,
is all controlled.
He's
that
like
way.
the smart home fiend. Like everything.
Probably
is smart
exposing everything. I'm sure China has watched everything that my family
Google
does.
flush my toilet.
Chop poop into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the more advanced stuff is like hydroponics. So this essentially is you remove the soil and you're just growing in like an enriched water medium.
Weird.
One site that I found was like super helpful, just breaking it down. Tells you what you need, how much it'll cost, is the spruce.com, and it has a beginner's guide to hydroponics. The one thing on there is there's a lot of different types of hydroponics. Let me open this for you.
Okay.
Everybody look.
Look
I'm
at this.
doing it.
I'm going to screen share.
So yeah, there's 5 ways to start it. One is the Wick system. So it essentially just pulls water from a basin.
John
up.
Wick system?
Yeah. It's
Kills
a video
everything
game. You get a
inside.
video game case.
Kills everything inside.
Yeah. So it's a little cheaper, and it's probably the simplest of them. But there's actually no limitation to, because the seeds that grow in the ground, they'll hit rocks, or if you're not feeding them, but where you have and you can see the root, like they can go crazy. You can get twice as many fruits and veggies out of them. But yeah, it sounds like that isn't true.
Sounds like magic.
It does. It does. So there's the John Wick system.
Yes.
Then there's the water culture raft system. So basically you have a piece of styrofoam, the roots are poked through into the media, and then you just kind of sit there in the water.
That makes sense.
Dee-da-dee-dee.
Yeah.
And then you have a grow light. The other one is the EBB and flow system, EB. This is basically like a flood and drain system. It circulates that water so the fertilizer and everything's kind of getting rotated between all the roots.
That makes sense.
Kind of a cool one. And then there's the nutrient film technique. So this is you have basically a little pump that's looping the water through constantly. Downside to that, obviously, is it requires power.
You got to have power. Well, if you have a grow light, you're going to have power
all that
too, right?
yeah. But most of that's like solar power would give you enough.
You could get enough
but
to
the
do
pump would probably
be too
you'd have to
much.
have a pretty significant solar system, like the planets, the sun,
Milky Way, solar, and universe, and galaxy.
Yeah, you got to have it all.
Yeah, everything.
But yeah, this breaks it down on different ways you can do it. And then the last one is aeroponics, which is part of the hydroponic system because it's using
We're not
water only.
going to talk about hooked on ponics.
Hooked on ponics.
Yeah.
So this one is you have the vegetable or whatever suspended in like a little pot, and the root just sticks straight down, and you have a mist system. So it just sprays like every 5 minutes or so. It just sprays like a mist. Then that mist, condenses, falls, and then it recollects it. So it's just
That is weird.
you don't use hardly any water.
Really?
I would love to set it up, but it sounds super complicated.
Good gracious.
But yeah, so it's these misters are just spraying on the roots, and the roots just go crazy, and the plants, I guess, can produce a ton because you have like full control.
That is
Obviously, you
weird.
need to know how to mix your water.
Yeah.
Can't just be pop. Can't spray Coke on
Can't
those.
just spray Sprite all over that sucker.
Yeah.
Ain't going to work.
So anyways, those are some
interesting.
pretty complex systems if you don't have the soil and you have like a spare room. But
Yeah.
the thing about this is it can go all year long,
Yeah, so if you're in an apartment or something, it might be something to look at, right?
Winter, rain,
Yeah.
nuclear holocaust.
You can do it.
Still got stuff growing.
Interesting.
So
No, I
pretty
like
cool.
that.
If anybody's tried it a lot, I want to hear about it.
So when you're starting your garden, there's a few things that you need to start thinking about, right? So what location are you going to use? You got
Probably my house.
yeah,
Probably
but-
my home.
And so in that location, what grows best in your
I'm going to
area?
use your backyard.
You're going to come to use it. That's fine with me.
Can I till up
Actually,
your lawn
yeah.
and start growing?
Just use my front yard. What grows best in your area? So obviously things are going to grow, different in different areas. In Florida, you're great for citrus fruits and whatnot. Not so good here in Utah, right? So
In
you
some
need,
of those areas, you just spit a seed and it starts
it just
freaking
starts
growing.
growing, right? So you need to make sure that you understand that. A simple Google search, most of the time you can figure this type of stuff out. But I did learn about a cooperative extension service, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but
No.
each state has one, Cameron. They're starting in like the early 1900s, and that basically they're there to help local farmers. I'll bet your dad knows about them. Local farmers and questions and issues with farming and stuff, and it's actually through local universities. So they're like really
I know
smart
Utah
people.
State has like tons
Utah
of
State does, for
growing
sure.
areas.
Yep.
Oh,
And,
cool.
and it's actually a
I
free
didn't even know about
service.
that.
So you can actually contact them with any sort of questions about growing in your area and growing different types of crops and stuff like that. So,
Let's say I'm calling for a friend. How would you grow marijuana
what's the best
in
way?
Vernal?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
So, okay, location again. What about the best spot on your land for actually starting your garden, right? And obviously, this doesn't matter if you're inside, but if you're on an outside garden, you need to pick the best spot.
Like where your truck sits and drips oil.
It's perfect. Yeah.
It's
Fertilizer.
great.
Free fertilizer. So if you're starting out the first time, most people say start out small. Don't do like this 3-acre garden because you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to just pretty much let everything die.
Seriously.
It's not going to work out for you probably. So think about starting small, but you need a sunny location. If you didn't know, vegetables and plants and things, they need sun. So if you're in like straight shade, it ain't going to work out for you,
Yep.
right? So most vegetables need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight. So make sure that you're in a spot that has that sun. You need moist, well-drained soil, all right?
Yeah.
If you have poorly drained soil, like the water pools up and things like that, you're going to have to use those raised beds that Cam talks about,
That's
right?
one thing people like. Well, me, you get backwards. It's like it needs more water.
Yeah.
Just give it tons and tons, and if it doesn't have a good drain system, then you're killing it just as fast. As
Exactly.
no
yeah.
water.
And if you have that rocky soil, we have some rock. We have like sandy, rocky
It's sucky soil.
It sucks, yeah. So you basically, if you're
You're
planting
growing
here,
in sucky soil.
you got to go get some,
Yeah, I've been putting tons of
topsoil,
topsoil. Been pooping in my own box.
Yes, you have. So you have to remove those rocks. You have to till it, right? And Cam talked about this several times. Get your soil tested, right? right? Because if you can get your soil right, your yields are just going to shoot up.
Yeah.
You got to get it right.
Way less effort.
I don't understand it, but I know if you get it right, it's good, right? Also think about planting in a stable environment. Avoid places that have like
in a stable in Judea.
Exactly. Yeah. No, like a place that doesn't have like really strong crosswinds or something, right?
Yeah.
Because when you do that, obviously your plants don't want to stay up. Plus, the bees and the things that come pollinate the plants don't want to be around that area as much. So think about that. A place that doesn't get a ton of foot traffic or doesn't flood easily. You got to get that sweet spot. So think about that. A couple other tips that I read. The rows should run north and south.
The rows?
The rows of
rose bush.
The rows of the
north and south, huh?
North and south, because apparently that's the best way to take full advantage of the sun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So think about doing that if you can. A lot of times it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. So go ahead and do that. Then make sure also you have a path to get to all of your plants, because you need to weed them and you need to make sure that you can get to them and take care of them. So think about that, Cameron.
And don't just clump it all into a big mass.
What kind of vegetables and what kind of fruits, what things do you actually eat? I mean,
I'm not going to grow a bunch of onions.
No, I mean, I actually like onions, but
yeah,
you need to think about that, right? Because, and I guess it's a little bit different if it's a hobby garden or a survival garden, because we'll talk about
there's things to add in.
They're different
things
things.
You may not eat all the time.
You may not eat something, but it might be really good for a survival garden. So you need to think about that.
Or make up the difference of something you don't have.
Something that you don't have. So what do you usually eat? And then what grows well in your area? So you kind of have to make a list and then start whittling that down, right? Are you looking to can or freeze this stuff? Because that, again, can make your choices a little bit different. The veggies that are really conducive to canning or freezing are green beans, peas, and carrots. Those things are great for that. And potatoes and onions. You don't like onions, but
I do use them, though. So it makes sense
use
to
them in
grow
cooking, right? Those are really great if you have a root cellar or like a cold basement or a garage that you can, because you don't need to can them.
I'm going to bust up the cement in my garage.
Bust up the cement?
And just make my root cellar. My wife probably won't care.
She doesn't care. No, she'll let you do whatever you want. Right. So those types of things, just think about those as you're planning. Obviously, this is way more important.
Planting or planning?
Both. Planning your planting of your survival garden. It's way more important in a survival garden, less important in a hobby garden. Do what you want. Just try stuff, obviously, with a hobby garden. So let's talk about that. Is it a survival garden? This is where it becomes a little more crucial on the things that you pick to actually try and plant, right? The primary factor, one of the primary factors is calorie density in your plant, because if it's something that's not going to give you a ton of calories and a lot of nutrients, then it's going to take a ton of work. You're pretty much just working against yourself.
Corn only.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Cornhole.
Corn has huge calories, right? It's great for calories.
Like pure starch.
So those are kind of great. Protein from crops versus livestock. So can you get protein? Do you have livestock? Also, how much yield does the plant give you? Like, do you get a ton of stuff from the plant or just a little bit? Is the juice worth the squeeze is kind of what I'm trying to say here, right? You have to think about that. So if you go to actually usfeeds.com/learning/calculators, they have a great
that's cool
calculator there that helps you calculate a lot of these different types of questions with calorie density and yields and protein and all those kind of things. So you can go through and look and make more informed choices that way. It's kind of cool. So go check that out.
It's like growing up, we had the regular silage corn.
Yes.
But like we'd have 2 rows that we just put, in the planter. So you had this huge thing of sweet corn.
Oh, yeah.
Which was way more useful because it's getting watered along with the rest of it and all that. But like in your garden, I just know a lot of the sites for like corn probably takes too much time, too much effort for the yield.
It does, yeah. But again,
it's a great thing. I love it.
It's great stuff, delicious. Yeah. But it has super high calories, so you have to just weigh that out, right?
Right.
Also, health and inputs. Crops that are super nutrient hungry or water intensive or labor intensive, if you're doing a survival garden, that's probably not the best idea, right? I mean, I wouldn't think so. But again, I'm not a pro gardener.
That's why it's kind of like you were saying, take your hobby garden, and learn what things are going to be the better things to plant in abundance when you have your survival or the need for.
Yeah. But the reverse of that is some of those crops that are harder to to grow and stuff like that are going to have a higher barter value because a lot of people aren't doing it, right? So again, you have to look at it both ways. Yep, yeah, sure. I mean, why not, right?
I would grow it if I could.
Yeah. Crops that are susceptible
it.
to pests or diseases or that need like weekly pruning. I mean,
Corn.
again, yeah, you got to think about
a ton
that.
Of freaking
Cam hates corn. He's got a
I
thing
love
with
corn, but it's pissed me off the last 2 years.
It's funny. I tried growing corn one time, and it was the easiest
You guys,
thing I ever grew.
I do remember the soil over there was a lot better.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So crops that need minimal
Maybe I just
processing.
have a lot of diseases and bugs
Could
in
be.
my neighborhood.
Crops that need minimal processing or for storage, you know what I mean? That's kind of huge in a survival aspect. Space, time, effort, season length, all those things. Those will all affect the value for you. So you got to think about that. So let's look at a few specific crops. Let's start with Cam's favorite, corn.
I love corn, okay?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, it's
corn
just a lot
is
of
the
work.
highest calorie yielding crop that can be grown in a place like the United States.
Corn flakes,
Yeah.
corn syrup.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think pop
Corn
comes straight
pop.
from corn.
Mhm,
Corn
yeah.
pops?
Corn pops, yeah. Popcorn, other way around, right?
Yeah.
Corn pops and popcorn.
Everything.
But it takes a ton of space. Like we said, you can't just like
I
pack
grow
it
it
in there.
mainly for the look of it in the fall.
It does look nice.
It
yeah.
looks cool.
It's very Halloween.
It's all rotten and got bugs,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks great.
But corn is super low in protein. And it lacks a
Makes
bunch
sense.
of amino acids that you're going to need. Pests and fungus can be a problem. So, do you have to spray? I don't know. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about beans.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody loves a good bean.
Let's talk about beans.
Yeah, they're super high in protein. They're super high in vitamins, super high in minerals. They're super high in calories. Why aren't we growing beans right now,
I
Cameron?
know. Beans are like
They're like
excellent.
perfect, right?
That's why every other country but ours, well, I guess ours uses it quite a bit.
Yeah,
but
we
like
use it quite a bit.
Mexico and
Yeah.
South America, like tons of beans and
It's
beans
cheap.
and beans and rice.
Cheap and plentiful, and it fills you up and it keeps you alive.
Yeah. I have like 5 or 6 5-gallon buckets of beans.
Do you?
I bought
good job.
like a really good. I bought a good deal.
Did you? Good job, man. I'm happy for you.
They're probably not stored correctly and all
Yeah.
ruined, but
But they're super versatile. They versatile. They can be eaten fresh off the plant, or they can be dried and stored really, really easy. And they have a long shelf life when you dry them, right?
Yeah.
So they're good to go. So beans, think about that. Peas,
think about your beans.
think about your beans.
You can play bingo.
I'm thinking about your beans right now, boy.
Yeah.
Peas. Peas they're delicious.
I love
like
peas.
the snap peas. And
Oh,
the
that's like
they're the great.
That's probably
the
where I
greatest.
spend 90% of my time is trying to get peas.
Just trying
And
to
they
get
start
over here.
growing good, but then they get cooked.
Oh,
Like I got to
yeah.
get a shaded area
Ooh.
to do it, but
Yeah. Again, you're learning.
Love
right?
peas.
You're learning. You
Yeah.
love the peas. You're having a hard time growing
I
them. so
need
you're
to
trying
make
figure
a
it out.
trellis for them to crawl.
Yep.
Like, anyways, you learn all that stuff while experimenting.
Yep. Okay. Winter squash. Squash.
Squash.
Yeah. They're very hardy, easy to store during the winter months. Lots of varieties. I mean, we know. I mean, there's a million. Spaghetti, butternut, acorn, Hubbard. All those types of squashers. You know what I mean?
There's a ton of
pumpkin-
squash.
There's a million types. They all look like they're from the alien planet.
They
some of them,
do.
right? But apparently you can store them for up to 6 months in a cool, dry place. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I do now.
Well, I guess the pumpkins sit out for when they're not cut open.
Oh, they shrivel in about a week for me. But
When you cut them open.
when you cut them open, yeah, when you cut them open, Kobe. Gosh,
If you expose the insides.
gosh, idiot, you'd shrivel up too if we cut you
I
open.
think you're talking about jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes, I am.
They don't last.
That's my only experience with pumpkins.
I know.
Jack-o'-lanterns.
The other thing is they freaking produce billion seeds.
Yeah.
So
Apples.
there you go. I think pumpkin seeds have a ton of good
Oh, they're good.
stuff in them.
They're good too if you do them just
I've
right.
cooked my own a million times.
Got to do them just right though.
100% salt.
Yeah, they are. Apples. So if you're in the fruit, an apple tree, good gracious, man.
Yeah.
That's going to do you good in the apocalypse, right?
Yeah,
It'll treat you well.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
standard tree can produce 250 pounds of apples a year.
Wow.
Think about it.
249 get eaten by birds.
Birds and worms, right?
Yeah. My dad had we had a cherry tree.
Mm-hmm.
It was only like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's like, you guys need to come down and get some of these cherries. They're the best cherries I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, like overnight, the birds just
got 'em all.
cleaned them.
Oh.
And he was all super depressed about it.
That sucks.
Never mind. They're all the cherries are gone.
Never
Son
mind.
of a billion birds.
I got the shotgun out
Now he
right
has
now.
like a tarp, a tent, electrical fence, like everything over top
Birds
of it.
are the worst.
And it hasn't produced like that before.
Hasn't it?
Again.
Gosh,
Like,
dang it. That's too bad, man.
he's still bitter about that one.
But apples, if you have an apple tree, you could basically feed an adult for 1 month from one
No
apple
kidding?
tree. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you'd have the poops if you just ate apples for an entire month.
Right.
But, you can supplement your diet for quite a long time. Right?
Cool.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I've wanted to grow an apple tree.
Yeah, they're a mess though.
Yeah,
they kind of are a mess. And then you
It's
start
like
smelling
plums
like
and apricots. They just turn like, it's like a river of goo underneath them.
in my old house in town here, we had plum trees in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had an apple tree. It smelled like we were making wine out there all the time because it was just they
It
were all
does, it
falling
gets all
off and
fermented.
rotten. Yeah, like oh gosh, man.
That's true. That's true.
Taters. Everybody loves a good tater. Everyone does. I'm okay. Not everyone. Most people
I love
love
taters.
taters. I love me some taters. The most widely grown root crop in the United States.
Taters?
Mm-hmm. They yield
Pioneers survived on taters.
They yield less per acre for corn or beans, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a thing. But they can be stored all winter with no drying or processing simply by keeping them in a cool, dark place. So again, you have to weigh these things. You don't have to work. You just take them out and put them in a cool place, and they're good to go.
Can't you just like cut the top of a potato off, put it in the ground, and
think
it'll grow
so.
another? I've never done it.
Pretty sure.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah. So
Potatoes are weird. They're from a different planet.
the thing with taters, though, is they require lots of nitrogen, apparently, to produce. So you got to make sure you got fertilizer or a way to get that soil.
Just take the nos out of your car, spray your soil.
That'll work, too. Yep. Carrots, again, another root.
So they both use a lot of nitrogen and need a lot of. Okay.
Yeah, so
Good
you
to know.
You just have to think
I've
about
never
those things.
grown any root
I haven't either.
plants. So.
I think I grew carrots.
Well,
once.
carrots
Yeah,
are easy.
Carrots, they're a great one
My
too.
kids love them because they're just like, woohoo!
Pull them out and eat
And then
them.
they throw it.
Yeah. But again, you can store them just like you do potatoes, right? You can just store them all winter long.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Apparently, if you aren't in an area that experiences really hard winters, you can just cover your carrots with a thick layer of mulch and leave them in the ground.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah,
you
just
I
leave
just
'em.
tilled up like 4 or 5, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, they're like still good.
So you could just, if you put some nice mulch on there and keep the sun, after, you could just leave them.
That's cool.
So that's something to think about, right? Another thing to think about for your survival garden is garlic. Now, this might seem a little odd, but it's delicious. When you put it on things and in things, it makes things taste fantastic.
Or you sweat it for an entire
You
month.
do. Garlic isn't that bad with these. The onions with me.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said garlic was that
no,
bad
it's
too.
onions.
Yeah, garlic has tons of uses.
Plus, it's medicinal, right?
Big time.
It's antibiotic. It's antiviral. It cures the COVID. I'm pretty sure. Reduces
Guaranteed.
high blood pressure. It's an antioxidant. I mean, there's so many things that it's probably worth it if you can figure out how to grow it.
Right.
Figure it out, right?
Basically an onion, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
A little mini onion.
So those are just a few to think about. Obviously, there's a million more vegetables, but for a survival garden, those are some things to think about.
Easy and abundant, yeah.
Yes.
You usually get good.
So how do you know when to plant? So that becomes an issue.
That does.
Right?
It does come.
But if you got the internet, there's a really good place you can go. If you go to the Old Farmer's Almanac, they've got tons of good information.
Yeah, I actually looked at one of these for
Did you?
once in my life this year.
Yeah. If you go to www.almanac.com/gardening/planting calendar, you can put in your zip code and it gives you exact times. It gives you like last frost dates, and then it tells you when to plant, when to start these things indoors, when to transplant them. It gives you all that information like for your zip code.
Yeah.
So why not get that printed off, keep it in your...
Yeah, that's super important because like a lot of people say, once you figure out your heirloom seeds and prepare, and I'll talk a little more about like storing your seeds, but the fact that you need to know, because it's just a generalized zone that they put on those. Like it doesn't match every location. And I found out the hard way that certain things are not what you're like, oh, I'll put it in it dead.
Yeah. So I think that's a good place to go. Go get something like that, get it printed out, and keep it in.
That's a great idea.
In your records somewhere.
I want a big old almanac.
Yeah, I do
almanac.
Too. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, did you know COVID has led to a 5-fold increase in cyber attacks? According to who?
Who?
Yeah, it has. But unlike coronavirus, there's a solution to this problem of cyber attacks.
Okay.
Surfshark.
Yeah.
VPN. Guess what? I'm using it right now.
Yeah, you're actually connected
My
to this network.
notes and my access is all through Surfshark right now. So what does Surfshark do? Basically makes you like go gray man online.
Beautiful.
They can't track where this podcast is coming from right now.
And they're trying.
They're trying hard.
They're trying. Yeah.
There's no malware. You can block all that crap. Phishing doesn't happen. Safe, unsafe ads, safe and unsafe.
Nothing.
Blocked.
Done.
The thing that I like the most about it is one subscription covers every device you use.
That's one of my
Sign
favorite.
in on your PC, sign in on your Mac, sign in on your phone, sign in on your other phone,
Yeah.
in your BlackBerry,
iPads.
your handspring device.
PS4.
Yeah, yeah. So one subscription covers all of that.
Beautiful.
24-hour support. Other things that are way cool, has a hack lock ID protection.
That
so
thing
it
actually is cool.
notifies you when your email password has been compromised. So they watch it. That's pretty sweet. The other thing is for entertainment, you can just stream from as if you were in France.
Yeah, or not in France.
So it basically uses a server in a different country, and your IP is still, invisible.
Yeah.
And you can just stream from the Netflix of UK.
Yeah, see, I've been wanting to see some like Iranian Netflix series.
I know. There's
Now
so
I
many
can.
good ones from
Now I can.
deep in
Yeah.
Pakistani.
Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan, that's
Yeah.
it. So anyway, guess what? It
What?
only costs you
Not much.
through our Casual Preppers code, you get basically $1.91 a month.
That's ridiculous.
It's so freaking cheap. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's honestly, I've used a couple just kind of looking at their apps for free trials. It's the cleanest one I've used by far.
Yep.
So you just activate it, and if you lose connection, it warns you and says you're no longer under a VPN, which is super awesome.
Yes.
Go to their website, surfshark.deals/casual preppers. Enter the promo code that's the same, casual preppers, for 84% off and 1 extra month for free. And it's only $1.91.
Yeah, go to our show notes. That actually link is right there in the show notes, and you can click right through. Use our code Casual Preppers. It's gonna be worth
Cyber attack is happening all the time.
100%. 100%.
All the
Surfshark.
time.
All the time.
So
Yeah, like it.
let's talk a little bit about protection. Condoms for your garden.
Prophylactics.
Yes. So how do you deal with drought and bugs and critters and limited resources like water?
That's tough.
How do you plan for that?
I don't know.
So there's a couple of things. Have you ever heard of companion planning?
I have,
And that
actually.
doesn't mean holding your wife's hand while you're planning or your kids, but doing that helps as well.
It sure does.
But companion planting is the act of interplanting plants that can mutually benefit each other.
Ah.
So you talked about like corn and beans and stuff like that. There is that they call it like the three sisters.
Yep.
Where you do corn, you grow beans around them, and they supply each other. They keep bugs away.
Yeah.
It's awesome if you look into companion planting. And you can go onto Wikipedia and it'll tell you which ones go well together.
Ah, great.
It's like put your peas with your carrots.
Yeah.
Says Forrest Gump. But yeah, so yeah, for example, like I was saying, you do the corn, you grow your pole beans, and then you put squash underneath there too. It's a great companion.
Symbiotic.
Yes, that's the
Right.
perfect word for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
Synergy.
yes.
Synergy.
Yeah. Stop.
Okay, I'm helping. I thought I was.
What's the jazz? Is it called Synergy or something now?
Energy Solutions?
Is it Energy Solutions?
Wait, no, it changed. I don't know.
I don't know. It changes
Doesn't
all
matter.
the time.
Doesn't
Anyway, yeah, who cares? Sports are over.
Yeah.
Never happening again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so companion planting helps a ton. One, it helps with pest management because you can grow like spices and herbs and things like that. They actually help ward off nasty plants, nasty bugs. You want to get the bad plants from growing.
Yeah.
And then if you have a really good covering over like the roots and stuff of other plants, weeds and crap can't grow.
Yeah.
So you want to just use all that area as best you can. So you need to look into companion planting. It's great. It's a good date night thing to get into.
I'm excited.
The other thing that can really help your gardens is livestock.
Sure.
So your chickens eat like every bug, right?
They do.
You didn't? Did you grow a garden last year?
I did not.
I know they can be tricky because they can also devastate your garden. But their poop is excellent. They eat bugs.
Yep.
And there's chickens aren't the only thing. Ducks are great for that too. And so, like basically, you got your livestock, and bees are also excellent for fertilizing and spreading the wealth of your garden amongst your community.
For sure.
So these are all important things that work together. So you got to look into that as well. There's a lot of people, anybody that's like the true gardener are total anti sprays and all that pesticide crap. And I agree. It's pretty toxic. So the one thing is like some of the simple like household items you can use, like just Dawn soap and water to help protect your plants. There's like a whole list of things. If you go to, I thought I had it in here. Anyway. Oh yeah, right here. So if you go to planetnatural.com, it gives you like all these different natural pest control to avoid using like all this nasty, chemicals that are going to kill you and your plants. But yeah, so the big thing here is just like growing different plants that help those other plants, that'll ward off different bugs and all that crap. But you can also just turn them around and use them for different medicinal uses and add to the foods that you cook for better flavor and things like that.
Makes sense, yeah.
It just kind of all works together there. The other big things are bushes and hedges, ones that can fruit, like they help protect from the wind and they can guard. So people kind of grow on the outsides of their garden, some of those bigger plants, bushes, because they can take the abuse of the wind and they protect the inner plants. But you can also put up windbreaks and shading. So this is a whole system that you've got to figure out. A lot of people talk about as a forest, a garden forest or whatever. So it applies like all these different things of covering. You got ground coverings, and then you have the livestock that can feed in there, and then you have the companion. It gets really in depth, and you just got to play with it and figure out what works for you and in your area for continual growth and resupply of your food. So
there's so much to it.
It's a crazy ton. Like it's super overwhelming, but it's pretty fascinating.
It is.
It's something easily to get into because everybody has dirt
and it's relatively inexpensive depending on how you do it. So I mean, it's probably going to be more expensive than just going to the store and buying this stuff, the vegetables, but you never know.
I know it's true.
When it comes down to, but obviously it's a good thing. So there's a couple other supplies or things that you can look at buying that may help you in very specific situations when you're trying to grow some stuff. One of those things is like a grow tent. Have you ever seen one of these?
Yeah,
Cameron?
I've wanted one bad.
Yeah, so these are very popular in the marijuana industry.
Right.
That you put these in your basement or whatever. You put your lights in there. So basically, it's a room. It's like this little fake room that's built out of this sort of material that's reflective on the inside that you can grow stuff in, right? And there's electrical components throughout it. There's lights and all these different things, depending on which one you get. So basically, it's a lightweight object covered with a strong frame. It has this fabric exterior, and you grow plants inside of it. Right? It's called a grow tent, right? So you can do this in lots of different environments that aren't really conducive for growing stuff. So you can maintain a suitable humidity and suitable conditions to grow where you couldn't outside of the tent. So it might be something that could be useful in an SHTF situation, possibly. You could grow stuff in your basement without anybody knowing, depending on what your situation was. So this is something you could think about. Obviously, we all know what a greenhouse is. That is something that could help out a lot of people with grown stuff, right? It's basically a structure that has transparent material on the outside and on the top. I don't really want to go into how it works, but
there's a lot of this.
There's so much. But you could think about having a greenhouse to kind of help your yields and different types of plants that maybe couldn't be grown if you didn't have the greenhouse. So think about that. Some other things to think about to get in your supplies if you get into a survival garden situation. Chicken wire. Obviously, there's so many things you can do with chicken wire. Keep chickens out, keep chickens in, all those things. But it's great to put around your garden to keep it safe from pests and animals.
And if you, and it works really good for like as a trellis too.
Yeah,
That stuff
as a
crawls
trellis,
right
yeah.
up that.
Yeah, your pole beans and all those types of things could grow on those. Canning, that is like a whole episode.
my
I'm not even
gosh.
going to get into it.
And I don't think we'll ever do that.
Probably not. But there's so much that goes into it, and there's methods, there's different types of methods for canning. But if you're gonna be doing a garden like in a very serious way, you should probably figure out the canning aspect of it, right? There's a lot of resources online. We can't really get into it today because there's just so much. But be aware of it and go look into it if you're really getting serious about your garden, right? So those are a few other things to think about, right?
For sure.
Cam, do you want to talk quickly about like fertilizer waste reuse
Yeah,
options?
super fast. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can make your own fertilizer. And again, use the spruce.com. Like it's a great website that has ways to like use, table salt and use coffee grounds. But one of the easiest ways is like all your byproducts in your plant, all the crap that you don't use, or when your plant's dead, you just throw it in. Like they get those big, it almost looks like a cement mixer.
Yeah.
And you can speed up the fermenting process and the basically get fertilizer from all the waste. And so those are really nice to have in your in your backyard so that you can just continually use those things. I think it was in the December episode of the home biogas.
Yeah.
So it's like that big tent that is fermenting stuff inside, produces methane or like methane fuel or one of those types of fuels. So you get fuel to burn, and then you get all that byproduct fertilizer that you can just turn around and put in your garden.
Yeah.
That thing's sweet. And
For sure.
it looks really weird, but it
does look weird, huh?
But it definitely has use of even your own feces, which is pretty cool. But yeah, look into some of those things about ways of reusing all of your waste, and you can use it as fertilizer, your lawn clippings and all that, like we've talked about. And the other thing, and this goes into a lot of detail, so I'm not going to really break it down, but how do you prepare those seeds after your harvest?
Yeah.
So you want to go with the heirloom seeds, avoid the hybrid crap, because you're not going to get it back like the same way.
Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah,
right?
so your heirloom seeds, like your tomatoes, there's a ton of them, squash and all that. How to prepare those, you got your dry seeds like beans, okra, peppers, basil, things like that. All they need is you just dry those seeds, or you kind of get the little, what is it called, off from them?
I don't know.
The husks.
Oh, okay.
So you get the seed out, and then they're done, and you just seal them up, and they can store in a dry place. You can even freeze them for longer. So certain seeds withstand freezing really well. So this is something you've got to research on your own. And then you've got like the wet seeds that come out of eggplants, tomatoes, and squash, like the pumpkins. So you need to clean all the pulp off from them. Then you dry them. Some of them even do better if you ferment them, like the tomato seeds. So anyways, you got to look for those seeds, those heirloom ones, because you want to you don't have to go and buy new seeds or find seeds. You just get it every year, and you get tons of them, like way too many.
Yeah.
Even those packets that you buy to start, it's like, what do I do with, it's 8 feet apart, spread it, you got 16 seeds. I'm like, I don't have 15 acres.
No, it's not going to happen.
So this isn't going to work. But yeah, you need to learn how to prepare your own seeds. And I'm planning to do that this year, of like grow only heirloom, and then at the end of the year, learn how to store them and see how they turn out.
Cool.
But yeah, anyway, those are all things that you've got to either just print stuff off so you can look at it later, but practice with it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes into it. Probably the best of all things is find somebody that knows what they're doing.
That is the best.
And talk to them and spend time, because they've learned. Like, I call my mom all the time because she's grown like freaking everything.
Yep.
And it doesn't go along at all with like the packaging of the seed. Like, she's like, no, you don't do that.
It's not going to work.
Crazy.
Yeah.
They just know how to do it.
Yeah.
So spend time with that person. Develop a gardener companionship.
Buy them lunch. Take them to Arby's.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Yeah, that's gardening. That's kind of a survival
Yeah, it's
garden, pepper
basic,
garden.
and obviously we are not expert gardeners at all.
No.
So,
but that's a good introduction into starting to think about it if you haven't done it yet.
We've done livestock, so we had to do gardening.
We had to.
It's just a way to
we don't want to
get
leave
food
it out.
again.
Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by TechPack, the only
Talk.
The only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use code Casual Preppers and get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's tack pack. Head to tackpack.com.
They
use
are
our code.
not making money on that.
No,
There's no way.
absolutely not. And we have a tack pack right now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Look at this.
Look at that.
That is a sweet freaking cup.
Yeah. Where's the? Can you hand me the thinger? So we have one. No, the card.
Oh, yeah.
The card. Give me the card. Give me the card. The first item, the Sons of Liberty Gunworks T-shirt. Look at it. It's beautiful,
Sons
actually.
of Liberty.
The Sons of Liberty. Yep, that's a cool shirt.
I like that color.
Yep.
That's great.
And then next is the Black Rifle Copy Company stainless steel mug. So this looks like just a regular mug, but it's actually stainless steel on the inside.
Yeah, and
It's legit.
it looks freaking sweet.
Very cool. And then the next is the Gerber Paraframe folding knife. Great knife. I actually have the smaller version of that knife.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah, it's a good knife. Good, great, wonderful knife.
Gerby.
The MT Chamber safety flag. And that is... Nope, there you go. Yep, that's the one.
Where's
High
the
visible
flag
yellow.
part?
That's
This
what
is
it's
the
called.
whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the shooter's tape. That's pretty cool. You can build makeshift targets with it. Yeah.
Just throw it up and shoot it.
No, but you can tape it onto like just cardboard and you can make your own target basically.
It has lines.
Has the grid patterns on it and
nice.
everything.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
That's a good idea.
And then we got a patch.
Because most of the time you're trying to stick it to a board, just tape that crap on.
Uh-huh. It's our most precious offering, it says.
It's a taco.
It's
It's pink and
It's
precious.
a pink taco. Yeah, so that's the latest tack pack. Use our code Casual Preppers. Get a free separate bag. So that's
It's like $45 and you get a separate bag.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a discount, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are losing money.
Ridiculous. And then we actually have the Going Gear EDC Club that came in this week. So let's take a look at what it came with. Yeah,
a hand spinner.
So the hand spinner was a free item that came as just like an extra additional.
They
type
know that
thing.
you're quarantined.
They know you're quarantined. You got to have something to do. So it's the what is that thing called?
This is
there?
the S1 what is
Oh,
it?
I have it right
Titanium
here.
Nano.
Yeah, so it's a tiny little like blade.
Holy crap.
It's tiny. Yeah.
He's so tiny.
It's the Claris S1 Nano Knife, a $30 value. A titanium.
That's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, a titanium folding scalpel keychain blade.
Tiny, man.
Yeah, it's tiny. And it comes with a couple of extra blades with it as well.
I'm scared.
I know. Be
Closing
careful,
that
please.
thing.
And then the last item is the Dango Products D01 Dapper Wallet. $69 value. Yeah, it's a cool.
How much?
69.
Wow.
Yeah. So check it out.
Look at that.
Yeah. Cool little wallet. Fancy pants.
That
There
is
you go.
fancy. I like the style.
Yep, that's the
metal.
Going Gear EDC Club. So go check them out. They have some cool stuff, man.
That's way cool.
Yeah, let's see. Is this the right button?
It's time for these quick and dirty medical tip.
I got the right button.
All right, everybody's border plants. So
Okay.
we'll just talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
So these are some of the best medicinal plants you can probably grow.
On the planet.
Yeah.
On the planet.
So sage.
Mm.
It's perennial.
I love sage, actually. You burn sage, it smells so good.
I like the smell in the
Yeah.
rain
Uh-huh.
in the sage. Oh, man. Medicinal use, mouth and throat inflammation.
So just eat it.
Yeah. And then you've got chamomile.
Mm.
Chamomile.
Yeah.
It's a flower, and you just eat some of the leaves.
what-
So all this, you got to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't just eat the whole plant because you probably will make yourself sick.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these things are liver and kidney toxic to certain
Ooh,
people.
geez.
So,
Be
but
careful.
anyways, these are ones you can grow and they look really nice.
Mm,
but ingestion, or indigestion, it helps with anxiety and skin inflammation.
That's chamomile?
That's chamomile.
Oh, interesting.
Basil.
Oh.
Basil's great. Tastes great.
Yeah.
Goes on a lot of things.
Sure.
Helps with flatulence.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it probably smells good when you fart.
I
too.
would suspect so.
Maybe you put it in your underwear.
Ah. Little sage, little basil. Mm.
Fart and pizza.
Spice that thing up.
Hot basil.
Yeah.
But helps with lack of appetite, which is weird. Cuts and scrapes. I guess you just rub it in there. Feverfew. So feverfew is a pretty cool looking plant too.
Feverfew?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It has a lot of different studies for
Fevers?
migraines is like the number one thing.
Huh.
Very minimal relief of like really bad migraines, but it can prevent them. Arthritis and skin conditions. So you use the leaves for like a tea, or you can chew them.
Interesting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
lemon balm. Has a lot of uses. It mixes well with a lot of things. Helps flavor water, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Helps with anxiety.
That's a new form of anxiety.
We were just making those up at work, and I just said it. Somebody like couldn't spell, and I was like, they have insomnia. Sleep problems and anxiety.
Yeah.
Wounds, herpes.
What?
Insect bites, flatulence, and upset stomach.
Flatulence? That was so many things that, geez.
Yeah, eat lemon balm. Stops your farts. I need to be doing
Lemon
this
basil
regularly.
balm.
Yeah. Parsley. Parsley is good for flatulence.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And bad breath. That's why it's always sitting on your plate.
It is.
Tastes
yeah.
horrible. St. John's wort can be grown too. Mild, moderate depression. Says talk to your doctor first because, yes, you can overdo it on this and there's a lot of side effects. And then the other one is aloe vera.
Oh, yeah.
That one grows really well inside and it looks sweet.
We had an aloe vera plant for about a week and it died.
That's right. We got it at the survival.
Yeah, well, I was like, you only have to water it like once every 18 months.
We got it at like a little mini survival thing here.
And it
looked cool.
It died fast.
It died fast.
Died fast.
But yeah, it has a lot of good uses. Can eat it, put it in shampoo, put it in skin conditioner, put it on burns, put it on stings.
Yeah.
It's super slimy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Ew.
My mom has grown one forever, and it usually has like big thumbprints and all of it. Like everybody's like push their thumbs into
squishing it.
And it grows really well indoors. And then thyme. Isn't it about thyme?
Isn't about thyme. We talk
Cough,
about
congestion, indigestion, and gas again.
Good gracious, man.
So there's a lot of those little things that you can grow in your garden. Great insect repellents. They hate the smell of these things.
You didn't talk about garlic.
Oh, I didn't.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, garlic and onions actually help repel humans from other humans.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for social distancing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's some you can start growing today.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, guys.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap on today. Go get your basil. Quit your farting. We got that going on for you. All right. Cam has one more thing before we go.
I don't know.
All right,
COVID-19. Stay away.
Stay away. All right. Stay survived.